Our next lesson is on angles and parallel lines, so make sure you title your notes. But before we get into the actual lesson, I want to talk about this figure here. There's two names for this. We have an angle, and we can either call it angle BAC. Notice the symbol for angle. You could start at B, go to A, and then to C. Or angle CAB, start at C, go to A, and to B. What's important here is that the A is always in the middle because that's the vertex of our angle. The B and the C can be flipped, that doesn't matter, but the A has to be in the middle. Alright, let's take a look at this figure. Notice we have two lines that are being intersected. We've got this line here and this line here. Okay, and they're going forever, so I should have arrows on the end. Those two lines form four angles when they intersect. Angle 1, angle 2, angle 3, and angle 4. First we want to talk about the adjacent angles. Well, what does adjacent mean? Adjacent simply means next to. We want to look for the angles that are next to each other. Okay, so let's say we were looking at angle 1 right here. Okay, well, what angle is next to angle 1? Clearly angle 4, because they're touching each other. So angle 1 and angle 4 are adjacent angles, which is what I wrote right here. Now there's many more. You could say angle 1 and 4. You could say 4 and 3. Those are adjacent. You could say 3 and 2. Or you could say angle 2 and angle 1. Okay, so there's many combinations. I just chose angle 1 and angle 4. Alright, next let's talk about vertical angles. Vertical angles are just opposite of each other. Alright, so let me show you what I mean by that. Angle 1 and angle 3 are vertical angles. Angle 1 is right up here, and the angle that's across from it is angle 3 right here. So 1 and 3 are vertical. And then angle 2 is vertical to angle 4 because they're across from each other. Okay, so that's vertical. Something important to know about vertical angles is that they are always congruent. And remember that means, congruent. I still spelled it wrong. Congruent. And when two angles are congruent, that means that they are equal to each other. And you could see from the picture that angle 1 and angle 3 are the same size. Those are equal. They will always be equal. Angle 2 and angle 4 are equal. Those two that are across, that are vertical angles, will always be equal to each other. Now let's talk about congruent angles. I already said that angle 1 and angle 3 and angle 2 and angle 4 are congruent, but how would you write that? Remember, we always need shortcuts in math. So our symbol for congruent is this right here. It's like an equal sign with a little squiggly line above it. That means angle 1 is congruent to angle 3. And you could do the same with angle 2 and 4. Angle 2 is congruent to angle 4. Alright, next let's talk about supplementary angles. Take a look down here. Supplementary angles equal 180 degrees. And remember, 180 degrees, if you forgot, is simply a straight line. So here I have a straight line. That means that this angle and this angle combine to make 180 degrees. And they want us to figure out this missing angle. Well, since I know that this angle plus this angle equals 180, I'll just do the opposite and subtract it. 180 minus 120, and then I figure out that the missing angle is 60 degrees. Next, let's talk about complementary. Complementary angles combine to equal 90 degrees. And remember, 90 degrees is simply a right angle. So here's our right angle. This plus this equals 90, so I'll just do the opposite to figure out the missing angle. 90 minus 55 gives us our missing angle of 35 degrees. Alright, I know this next slide looks a little overwhelming, so let me have you look right up here in the upper left-hand corner. What this says is line A is parallel to, these two vertical lines mean is parallel to, line B. So what they're telling us, very important, is that line A is parallel to line B. That's very important to do what we're going to be doing next, okay? And when those two lines, line A and B, are intersected by this line here, which is called a transversal. We'll talk more about that in class. Okay, that line's called a transversal. You're left with these 8 angles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So first let's talk about corresponding angles. Corresponding means that they're in the same position. So let me break this into two parts so that you could see. So let's just look at angle 1, 2, 3, and 4. And I want to focus your attention on angle 1 right here. Okay? Notice how within these 4 angles, angle 1 is in the upper left position out of these 4 angles. Upper left, okay? So now when I look down here at angle 5, 6, 7, 8, I want to look for the angle that's in the upper left, which would be angle 5. That means that angle 1 and angle 5 are corresponding angles. Before I go to the next slide, see if you can find a few others. If you did this correctly, you should have identified angle 2 and angle 6. Those are corresponding. Angle 3 and angle 7. And last, angle 4 and angle 8 are corresponding. All right, now we'll talk about alternate interior angles. Alternate interior, let's break that apart. First of all, interior means inside. Well, what inside are we looking at? We are taking our 2 parallel lines and considering everything between those 2 parallel lines as the interior, the inside. So we're looking specifically at angle 3, 4, 5, and 6, okay? Those are our interior angles. Now we want the alternate angles. So let's just pick angle 3 right here. If I want the angle that's alternate of that, I want it to be in the opposite position, which would be angle 6. Okay, alternating from that. So angle 3 and angle 6 are alternate interior. See if you could find the other set. You should have gotten angle 4 and angle 5. Those are also interior because they're on the inside. They're between A and B. And they are alternate of each other. And last, let's talk about alternate exterior. Again, we're taking our line A and line B. That's our cutoff point. So now we're looking at everything outside of that. So we're looking at angle 1, 2, and 7, 8. And we want the alternating ones. So let's look up here at angle 1. Which one is alternating from that? Well, look, opposite of that, you would have angle 8. So angle 1 and angle 8 are alternate exterior angles. See if you could find the other set. You should have gotten angle 2 and angle 7 because again those are exterior, they're on the outside, and they're alternate of each other. That's it for today, guys. Bye-bye.